Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Thomas. Today we'll be talking to you about Vitality Health Enterprises Incorporated. Myself, along with the help of Bonnie Faulkner, Charlie Jackson, Paula Buckner, and Tracy Large, brought you this magnificent presentation this morning. Now, without any further ado, let us begin. Now, just to give you an idea of the case background, Vitality was founded in Ames, Iowa in 1987 by Hikaru Kikuchi. Initial operations did rely on imports from Japan when Vitality was first starting up. However, manufacturing and distribution were brought back to the US after 2 years. And by 1991, they had already amassed $3 million in revenue. And by 1994, they'd signed an agreement with several large retailers in both the US and in Canada. Now, continuing that growth, fast forward to 2007, Vitality had grown to an organization with 7,000 employees in 9 global offices. Now, all of that comes to a screeching halt with the economic crisis of 2008, and due to the rising cost of and market uncertainty after that time, the new CEO had quickly realized the need for a performance management overhaul. Now, the central issue for this performance management overhaul wanted to hold employees accountable and to give rewards. They launched it, but the system was poorly launched. It was difficult for managers to adhere to. It forced a distribution unfair to top performing teams and didn't inspire or incentivize any real sense of performance improvement for any teams. It led to overall employee dissatisfaction, and the central issue that the human resource president is trying to solve is, okay, how do they fix it? And they must deliver this analysis to the board of directors. Now, the first solution that can be taken from seeing this original launch, the CEO's directives needed clear instruction. By providing clear instruction, employees have a better understanding of how to improve and what the expectation is in regards to their scoring and their grading. Performance management system should have solicited input from all of the stakeholders, employees, management, at all levels, in order to provide diverse viewpoints and properly fix any of these existing issues before they started. Why was it that lower performing employees were not incentivized? Why did the top performing groups come out as being unfairly represented? By providing a more inclusive restructure, regardless of prior evaluation rankings, are how an organization improves its existing structure. By keeping it the same, these different groups will remain unfairly ranked, as opposed to resetting things. Now, having concise communication before and at the time of launch provides even better communication and even better transparency between the employees and management. This way, they understand what is expected of them, what the requirements are, what the rewards are, and can answer questions and ask questions in order to gain better clarification. Having an in-depth training and workshop hosted by Human Resources would provide an opportunity for this to happen. Employees that didn't understand what it was they were being graded on, or had concerns, reservations, or complaints about it, could discuss it more freely prior to launch, or at the time of launch, so that it could be corrected before too much time passes. By providing that transparency before and at the launch, this covers a lot of the initial issues that would have been had at the first launch. And by covering that ground, it sets a more even and comfortable tone afterward. Now, the third solution was a bit different. It's completely taking out the required distribution rating level system. Currently, the systems include top achiever, achiever, low achiever, and unacceptable. These are skewed at 10%, 75%, 12%, and 3% respectively. What we were thinking was by completely throwing out that distribution system and rewarding people based off of their own merits and not placing them in these groups and looking at it on a more individualized basis. By doing so, this provides a better, more transparent view of each individual employee. This way, different achieving groups aren't necessarily feeling as graded and provides a more dynamic view of their perspective as an employee in terms of overall performance. It's an independent evaluation for each individual. And this would help remove some of the initial dissatisfaction that was had by the existing groups before. Now, what we'd found the best solution to be to resolve this issue was actually a combination of solution 2 and solution 3. By providing an appropriate communication with some in-depth training and workshops for the performance evaluation system process, criteria, and standards, we can give more clarification and transparency to our employees. By doing so, it improves upon all of the dissatisfaction that was had before and can help provide solutions to some of the problems that were existing beforehand before the launch. And by setting the expectation, the employees understand what it is that they need to do. Now, changing to an absolute approach as opposed to the original comparative approach by removing those required distribution of rankings, by changing this, we can improve upon some of that different groupthink or those negative opinions about forcibly placing employees into these categories, as opposed to looking at them on a more itemized and individual basis. We felt that these were two different aspects that work best together. Two different good solutions. Now, what we'd found and what we'd learned in our research was that the most important thing in setting anything new, any new system of measurement, it's imperative to reach out to all of the parties involved in order to best meet their needs beforehand, as opposed to having to completely change it and do it after both launching it and hearing what the stakeholders have to say. By taking these into account beforehand, businesses are seen as more transparent and fair in their grading systems. By doing these performance measurement systems beforehand and creating it as a team effort, builds morale and creates a better overall finished product. And by doing so, it provides a more effective means of performance measurement and doesn't have nearly as many of these issues that can be seen both from the management perspective as well as the employee perspective. Taking them into account and making them feel important, valued, and listened to is vital to any organization or decision-making process. Now, this concludes our presentation. Thank you all so much, and I hope you all have a great day.